She stood in handcuffs by the side of the road. Cameras pointed at her. Officers doubting her identity. A crowd slowly forming. Just another routine stop, they thought, until two black SUVs pulled up, and everything those cops thought they knew, shattered. The sun was still clinging to the edge of the horizon when Officer Ryan Donnelly flicked on his turn signal and pulled in behind a black SUV near the intersection of King Street and Broadmoor in Reston, Virginia. Broken taillight. Nothing serious. He figured he'd write a warning and be done with it. That was the plan. He ran a hand over his tired face and stepped out of his cruiser. "Evening," he said, approaching the driver's side window. The tinted glass rolled halfway down. Behind it sat a black woman, maybe late 30s, slim build, chin-length box braids, dark blue blazer. No music. No movement. Just calm stillness. "License and registration, please." She handed him a small leather wallet. No hesitation. "Name, ma'am?" "Talia Monroe." Ryan flipped open the ID. Paused. The card looked official, but not familiar. A federal seal. Her photo. And a string of letters that didn't register. The badge number looked legitimate, but didn't match anything in his head. Homeland Security? Secret Service? He'd been on the force 10 years. He'd seen it all. This felt off. "You joking?" he muttered under his breath. Talia didn't blink. "It's legitimate." "What agency is this?" "I'm not at liberty to disclose that." Ryan narrowed his eyes. "Is this fake?" "You know it's a felony to give me fake credentials." Still no change in her tone. "It's not fake." He walked back to his cruiser, annoyed now, and radioed in. "Dispatch, I need another unit. I've got a female driver in a black SUV, presented a federal-looking ID. Doesn't match anything I recognize. Need backup." Less than 5 minutes later, another squad car pulled up. 2 rookies stepped out. Young. Probably 2 years on the job. They stayed back while Ryan returned to the vehicle. "Ma'am, I need you to step out of the car." Talia sighed quietly, unbuckled her seatbelt, and opened the door. No resistance. As she stood, one of the rookies moved forward. "I'm gonna have to place you in cuffs for now," he said, his voice cracking slightly. "Until we verify who you are." "You're making a mistake," she said. "You can explain that at the station." People on the sidewalk were starting to slow down. Some pulled out their phones. A woman whispered, "Is she being arrested?" A man began recording. Talia didn't argue. She turned, hands behind her back. The cuffs clicked shut. As her blazer shifted, something caught Ryan's eye, a small earpiece, tucked discreetly behind her right ear. Barely visible. He clocked it but said nothing. She was calm. Too calm. That disturbed him more than if she'd fought back. What he didn't know was that seconds before she stepped out, she tilted her smartwatch just slightly, and whispered something so soft, no one heard. Now she stood silently, cuffs tight on her wrists. 3 officers surrounded her in a loose triangle. One rookie bounced nervously on his heels. Another fidgeted with his radio like he was waiting for something. Ryan just watched her, uneasy. "You live around here?" he asked. "I was just passing through." "Where were you headed?" "Back home." "Where's home?" She met his eyes. "I think you already know I can't answer that." He stepped in closer. "You think being cryptic helps your case?" "It doesn't. Right now, I see a woman with unverified credentials refusing to cooperate. You have everything you need. You just don't recognize it." That got to him. It wasn't just what she said, it was how she said it. Measured. Calm. Like she was in control of the situation. Most people caught in a lie start sweating. Shaking. Stammering. She didn't even glance at the phones recording her. One bystander, a teenage girl in a red hoodie, called out, "Yo! Y'all cuffing her for a busted light?" She didn't do anything. "Step back," one rookie snapped. But the small crowd wasn't moving. 5 people. Then 8. A man on a bike stopped. Phones out. All pointed at them. Talia stood motionless. Ryan tapped his radio. "Dispatch, anything on that ID?" Static. Then, still checking. No hits in the standard database. He clenched his jaw. Called over the rookie. "You pat her down yet?" "Not yet." "Do it." The rookie stepped forward. And finally, Talia spoke again. "I wouldn't do that." "Why not?" She turned her head slightly, just enough to make her voice carry. "Because if you put your hands on me, you might trigger a response you can't walk back from." The rookie froze. "Is that a threat?" "No. It's a statement." And that's when they heard it. Screeching tires. 2 black SUVs. No lights. No sirens. Just the sound of rubber clawing at pavement as they came to a stop half a block away. Doors opened in perfect unison. 4 men in suits stepped out. No hesitation. No confusion. They moved like a unit. The tallest one held up a badge. "Federal Protective Service. That woman is in our custody. Release her immediately." Ryan stepped forward. "I don't know who you think you are, but until we confirm her identity, she stays detained." The tall man came closer. His voice dropped. "You're standing on the edge of a federal incident. I suggest you step off." Another agent whispered something into the ear of the rookie behind Talia. Whatever he said made the young officer pale instantly. His hands dropped to his sides. Silent. Eyes wide. Ryan felt it. The shift. These weren't pranksters. These weren't actors. They were real. The whispering agent turned to Talia. "Are you okay, Agent Monroe?" She nodded. He reached into his coat and pulled out a small device. Looked like a phone, but thicker. He held it to her ID. The screen flashed green. A sharp beep echoed. "Confirmed," he said. Ryan blinked. "What agency are you people with?" The tall man looked at him. "She works for people who don't carry business cards." And just as one layer peeled back, another cracked wide open. Because someone in that crowd wasn't just a bystander. Someone had been waiting for her to slip. Her wrists were still bound. But her expression hadn't changed. Calm. Controlled. That kind of calm makes people nervous, because it means she's done this before. The agent nodded. The rookie stepped forward, hands trembling, and unlocked the cuffs. Talia rolled her wrists slowly. No drama. No anger. Just silence. Ryan stepped back, still trying to process. You can't just override a legal stop. The tall agent got in his face. Officer Donnelly, your stop nearly triggered a national security breach. Agent Monroe has been undercover for over a year, tracking something far above your clearance level. And you just pulled her out of deep cover, on a sidewalk. Ryan's radio buzzed. Dispatch here, still no matches, wait. Scratch that. We're getting a ping. Secure channel. Stand by. Too late. Talia was already walking toward the agents. She spoke softly, reporting in. Calm. Like they'd rehearsed for this. One agent looked over at her SUV. Did anyone touch the vehicle? Just me, Ryan admitted. Don't touch it again. Another agent popped the trunk. Nothing visible. He lifted a hidden panel and pulled out a compact case. Opened it. Wires. Compartments. Labels. Whatever it wasn't civilian gear. Ryan asked, was she transporting? Classified, Talia cut in. Everything's classified with you people. She looked at him. Sometimes the people you're supposed to trust are the ones selling you out. That hit him. Before he could respond, a voice from the crowd yelled. Yo! She CIA or something? The agents turned. Please stop filming, one said firmly. Why? The girl in the red hoodie asked. So you can cover this up? Talia stepped forward. Didn't yell. Didn't threaten. Just looked at the crowd. You have every right to record. Just understand, what happened here tonight won't stay on the surface for long. Then, her expression changed. Her eyes scanned the crowd. And locked onto someone in the back. A man in a baseball cap, hoodie zipped up high. No phone. No words. Talia's voice dropped to a whisper. Target acquired. The agent spun around. The man bolted. Talia didn't move. But one agent chased. And the rest stayed ready. The agent chased the man in the hoodie down the alley, quiet but fast. He drew a small launcher from inside his coat, aimed, fired. A soft pop echoed off the bricks. Then silence. Moments later, he returned, gripping the man by the arm. The suspect limped, blood on his sleeve, cuffs locked around his wrists. His hood was pushed back, revealing a wire tucked beneath his shirt. Tracker, the agent confirmed. Not a mic. Talia exhaled sharply. They were watching for me. Ryan stepped forward, confused. You saying the stop wasn't random? It was a setup, she said. They baited me onto this route. Ryan blinked. Someone fed your route to them? She didn't answer. Just glanced sideways, at the rookie who had cuffed her earlier. Then down at the radio clipped to his belt. No words. But something passed between them. A flicker of doubt. If her route had been leaked, then someone inside the precinct hadn't just made a mistake, they were working against her. Hours later, the precinct building on Ashburn Road was quiet. Not empty, but quiet in that heavy way. Like the air itself knew something had gone wrong. Talia walked through the front doors alone. No agents. No SUVs. No backup. Just her blazer, her badge, and a mission to finish. The officer at the front desk looked up, startled. Can I help you, ma'am? Talia didn't stop walking. She flashed a laminated card and nodded toward the hallway. Internal audit. Secure the floor. I'm not here for show. 5 minutes later, word had already spread. In the break room, Officer Ryan Donnelly stared at a half-eaten burrito when another officer stepped in. She's here, he said. Just walked in like she owns the place. Said she's running an audit. Command says to cooperate. Ryan stood, heart in his throat. He found her moving through the corridors like she'd been there before. Because in a way, she had. Not this building specifically, but plenty like it. Small-town departments with cracks wide enough for people to fall through. She stopped in front of the locked server room. Pulled a keycard from her coat. The light flashed green. The door clicked open. Inside, she moved fast. Plugged in a drive. Downloaded logs. She wasn't there to punish anyone. She was there to trace. Ryan found her moments later. You just walk in now like it's your station? I don't have time to explain the entire chain of command. I deserve to know what's going on. Talia turned to face him. You almost destroyed a national operation. You want a memo? I was doing my job. No. You were doing what you thought your job was. There's a difference. They stared at each other in silence. Then she added, quietly. When I handed you my ID, you assumed it was fake. Not because it didn't scan. Not because it didn't follow protocol. But because you didn't believe someone like me could carry it. He opened his mouth. Closed it again. I'm not here to fix you, she said. I'm here to find the leak. Before she could turn, another voice echoed down the hallway. Well, well. The ghost walks among us. Deputy Chase Lorne. Late 30s. Stocky. Clean-shaven. Too crisp for someone on a night shift. Ryan looked at them both. You two know each other? Talia didn't blink. We worked together once. Overseas. Brief op. Until he disappeared. Chase smirked. Disappeared? That's your version. You walked away with encrypted contacts and left 3 agents dead. My version's the only one that made it home. Ryan stepped back. You were CIA? Not anymore, Talia replied. Chase eyed her wrist. Still wear the watch? That trick still work? You'd be surprised how much hasn't changed. He stepped closer. So what now? You gonna play hero? She pulled a small device from her pocket. Pressed play. A distorted voice echoed from the speaker. She leaves the drop point by 7:10. Always takes the same route. I guarantee it. Ryan went pale. I tapped the signal this morning, Talia said. You fed my location. You wanted me exposed. Dead. Chase laughed once, and lunged. Ryan moved first. They slammed into the wall, knocking over chairs. Officers rushed in. It took 3 of them to pin Chase down. Talia didn't even flinch. She stepped forward and said, badge in hand. Chase Lorne, you are under arrest for treason, unauthorized foreign collaboration, and obstruction of a federal investigation. As Chase screamed curses, she remained quiet. This wasn't the end of the story. It was just the next move. Hours later, Chase sat locked behind bars. Pacing. Raging. Trying to retake control with his voice, since that was all he had left. Talia stood outside the cell. Calm. Arms crossed. You think this ends with me? Chase growled. You think you won something? She tilted her head. You're not the endgame. You're a distraction. He stopped pacing. What's that supposed to mean? The man in the hoodie? He was waiting for me, but didn't recognize me. You gave him an old photo. Before I cut my hair. That means something, Chase. He stared at her, unblinking. You're good at betrayal, she said. But you're not the one pulling the strings. He laughed, forced and bitter. You'll never find the rest. You just helped me narrow it down. She turned and left. Ryan waited outside. So he was one of yours? He asked. No, she said. He was one of theirs pretending to be one of mine. Why didn't the system flag him? You'd be surprised what a clean badge and a few months of silence can hide. They walked together to the evidence room. She opened the case the agents had recovered from her SUV. Inside, maps, surveillance stills, audio clips in languages Ryan didn't recognize. And one photo, showing a man who appeared in every file. That's who I was tracking, she said. Name unknown. Goes by Asher. Courier for hostile entities. Transports weapons. Data. People. Why was he in Reston? That's the question. Ryan leaned closer. You think Chase brought him? No. Chase isn't smart enough. Someone used Chase to get me flagged. What if the arrest had gone wrong? She met his eyes. Then you'd be cleaning up a diplomatic crisis. And I'd be dead. The weight of her words hung in the air. Finally, Ryan said, "What do you need from me?" Talia raised an eyebrow. "That's a shift." "I didn't know," he said. "About him. About you. I made assumptions." She studied his face. "You sure you're ready for what helping me actually looks like?" "Try me." To be continued.